folks. So that was not the most pleasant of evenings. So I got my little tent here, you know, and it's cozy and all, you know. It's pretty much a one-man tent. Two if you're cozy with the person, but where I am right now, there's a lot of bears and wolves and coyotes, stuff like that. So you got to worry about that stuff. So I brought along some things to try to deter unwelcome visitors in camp, and one of those is bleach spray. So I sprayed, I put my food in the Jeep at night, and then I sprayed bleach on the tires, and I sprayed bleach all around the perimeter of camp to keep the bears away. And then I have these ultrasonic pest repellers that work really good. They give off a lot of different frequencies and do a pretty good job of keeping the bears away. But you never know. They work up at my camp, but you never know out here in the wild. So true to form, about 11 o'clock last night, oh, I hate rabbits. About 11 o'clock last night, I had a pack of coyotes right across the lake here. This is a little pond, basically. They were going nuts. And wouldn't take much for them to walk around the end of the lake here where I'm at and end up in camp. So that kind of wigged me out a little bit because I'm in this little tiny flimsy tent. Even though I got the 9 with me and stuff, you know, I'm good to go, but I just didn't feel comfortable. So I slept in the Jeep. And then it got cold, and then it got really damp in the Jeep from my breath, and I was cold and clammy, and it wasn't a good night. I didn't get much sleep, maybe 2 hours of sleep. But here it is morning. Got me some canned coffee in my old cowboy style percolator coffee cup or coffee pot. Yeah, buddy, on the fire. And now I'm working on some breakfast. So I made my video I had yesterday. I hit the mother lode with fiddleheads, and I think I'm gonna harvest a bunch more actually, because that season is short too, you know. Now is the only time that they're up. The rest of the year they're full ferns, so I think I'm gonna grab a bunch more on my way out. I'm also gonna grab some leeks, stock up my freezer. But I got a bunch of fiddleheads here that I just cleaned. You gotta pull all this onion paper off before you do anything with them, and then you gotta blanch them because they have tannins in them. So you get some water boiling, and you put them in the water for a while, and boil them for about 10 minutes or so, and that gets all the tannins out. Because the tannins make them bitter. So you gotta do that first, and then you fry them up in butter and some garlic salt. They're really good. So I guess I can show you guys my camp here real quick. Like I said, I stumbled on this by accident. I came down and checked out this secret hidden lake way back in this county forest. And there's this little tiny lake here. It's probably, I don't know, 20 acres. And you saw the bluegills that come out of it. But up on top of this hill, I saw a clearing. So I climbed up here. And here's an old campsite from like years ago. I mean, the grass is growing up on the, if you look at the fire ring, see all the moss and the grass on the rocks and whatnot. So I'm like, this is perfect. So I got my brush saw out and I did a bunch of cutting, and I made 2 trails. I made a trail that comes up into the camp, and then I made a trail that goes back down, loops around and goes back down, because it's up kind of high on a road. So I got the Jeep parked down there, and then there's a road down there that goes to the lake. There's the lake, right? So this is camp. There's a guy out there fishing. He came in this morning. Wasn't too happy to see me here. Thought he had the whole place to himself. But anyway, this is my little camp. I got my wheeler up here. And I got my little screen tent. So this is a stargazer tent. It's made by Ozark Trail, I think, and I ordered it. I ordered it online. And yeah, I'm really impressed with it. The whole top is a screen, so you can, if you camp in a clear spot, you can look up and see the stars at night. But so I got my little campsite set up here. I've already burned through all my wood. I brought 2 totes of wood. And I've already burned through all of it, and I'm gonna be lucky to have enough just to make breakfast. But yeah, way up on this hill. So the bugs were not bad last night at all. But you go down by the boat landing. The boat landing's right down that hill, right there, and you just get hammered in that valley. But so the machine, you know, I can drive right down this trail here, and it comes out on the road down there, and then that's where the Jeep's parked. And then I got the nice thing about the machine is that I can hang stuff on it. So here's the morels I found yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 12. And then here's the big pile of fiddleheads. Yeah. And I got some in the pan now. I'm gonna blanch them for about 10 minutes or so. And then fry them up in butter with some eggs and leftover steak from last night. My steak was so big I couldn't finish it all. So yeah, this is a pretty sweet setup. So I'm pretty jacked. So that's kind of what's going on today. So I'm probably going to have breakfast and some more coffee here. Tear down camp. I might do a little more fishing for some of those big bluegills. And then I'm going to wander out of here. And on the way out, I'm going to stop and grab as many fiddleheads as I can. And also, I'm going to dig up a bunch of leeks so I can take those home and put them in the freezer, and I'll have a good winter supply of leeks. So outside of it being a miserable night for sleeping, so far the weekend's been pretty good. Supposed to get 2 days of rain, steady rain all day, and then next week it's supposed to be in the 80s. So these mushrooms are gonna pop. So I'm gonna come back out here next weekend and do this all over again. This is a holiday weekend. This is Memorial Day weekend. So I'm glad I came up on a Friday because there was nobody up here. And now today is Saturday, and this place is gonna be crawling with ATVs and trucks and whatnot. So next weekend, it should be pretty quiet, I'm hoping. So yeah, next weekend I think will be a really good weekend after the weather we got lined up. So I'm gonna try to keep this fire going with this little bit of wood I got left. That's it for the big chunks, 2. And that's all I got for the little. And oh, I gotta equipment update too. That chainsaw that I was talking about on my last video, I am not impressed. I had to, I'm getting you set up here on the tripod here. I had to cut a couple of small trees on the way in here that had fallen across the trail. And so I bucked those up. And then by the time I got to the campsite here, you know, I was gonna buck up some of the little branches and trees and scrub trees and stuff that were blocking the trail so I could get the machine up here. And the battery quit, the battery died. It didn't last for crap. So I'm not impressed. And the batteries cost $100 a piece. So ideally it'd be nice to have 2 charged batteries along, but even that, I think if you were relying on that saw to cut your firewood for a weekend, you'd run out of battery power unless you had some way to charge your packs. And then those stupid little 18-volt batteries, they take pretty near all day to charge. I don't know. I couldn't afford the $300 saw that had the good battery on it, so I bought the $169 version, and not happy, but it is what it is. I'll find a way around it. So this is primitive, but I think I'm gonna retool some things and do things differently. I don't like having to camp in the Jeep or sleep in the Jeep, because the Jeep is so airtight that I'm afraid that as I'm sleeping, I'm going to get overcome with carbon dioxide because I don't have any air transfer in there unless I roll a window down. And when I roll a window down, then the mosquitoes pour in. So I might either make some screens for the windows, pop in screens, or just come up with a different idea altogether. My goal is to get an enclosed trailer, aluminum enclosed trailer, and then I can haul my 6-wheeler in the trailer, and then when I get to a spot, I roll the machine out, and then I'll have a conversion kit that I build that converts the trailer into a little camper. That's my dream, but I can't afford a $6,000 trailer right now, so we'll see. But this winter it's going to be the 6-wheeler and hot tent camping for sure. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's a good weekend. It's not over. But yeah, I'm enjoying myself so far, except for the sleeping deal. But all right, check in with you later.